Aotearoa, and welcome to Wednesday's Economy Watch, where we follow the economic events and trends that affect Aotearoa. I'm David Chaston, and this is the international edition from interest.co.nz, and today we lead with news. The IMF has downgraded its global forecasts and said the world's economy is drifting into unpalatable conditions. A third recession since 2000 is possible, they say. The Strait of Hormuz remains closed by the actions of both combatants. Talks are supposedly ongoing, which is exciting equity markets, but bond and currency markets are bracing for stagflation. But first up today, the overnight dairy pulse auction brought the expected lower prices, with whole milk powder down 1.8% from the prior week's full auction event, skim milk powder down 1.9%, and butter down 3.7%. These shifts are in US dollars, and with the rising New Zealand dollar, they'll be deeper. Butter, in fact, is now at its lowest level since January 2024, a 27-month low. In the US, the labour market does not appear to be cracking, according to high-frequency weekly data from the ADP Pulse tracking. US private employers added 39,000 jobs per week in March. This is a sharp increase from the 26,000 weekly jobs created in the prior period, and is the fourth consecutive week of improvement in hiring. But the March NFIB Small Business Optimism Index fell to its lowest since April 2025, and this new level is lower than the lower level expected. They said, quote, "The dramatic spike in oil prices has spooked customers and owners alike. Small business owners are having to absorb those high input costs and pass them along to their customers. Their uncertainty measure spiked." Meanwhile, US producer prices rose less than the expected 4.6% jump in March, only rising 4% according to official data. Still, that is the fastest rise since February 2023. And China's March exports rose only a modest 2.5% from a year earlier, whereas their imports rose a startling 27.8%. Despite that, they had so much headroom, they still managed to record a trade surplus of 355 billion yuan, or $51 billion in March, although about half of what was anticipated. Yesterday, Singapore tightened their monetary policy in a new effort to ensure inflation does not ruin their economy. In Australia, consumer sentiment has dived lower. The Westpac Melbourne Institute Consumer Sentiment Index fell heavily in April, falling by a level only exceeded in the depths of the pandemic. And Australian business confidence has plunged dramatically as well. It fell 29 index points, the second largest monthly fall in the survey's history, with falls of this magnitude previously only seen in the GFC and the onset of the pandemic. Current conditions changed little, but the sentiment outlook has crashed pretty much in the same way the consumer sentiment has. Forward orders fell. Costs rose 3% in the quarter, more than twice as fast as prices, which just rose 1.1%. So it'll be little surprise to know that the RBA is worried, really worried. Australia faces a difficult macro backdrop. In a fireside chat in New York, RBA Deputy Governor Andrew Hauser warned of a nightmare scenario where inflation accelerates even as growth weakens, complicating policy choices. We all understand that the US abandoning its strategic role in the global economy means new alliances and connections will grow to replace them, but not all of those will be welcome. We should note that the Indonesian president is in Moscow, seeking a realignment with them. It is a balance from the recent deals with the US. The US administration looks just like the Putin administration to Jakarta. The IMF now says global inflation is expected to average 4.4% in 2026, up from their projected 3.8% in their January review. They also downgraded their global growth outlook, unsurprising given the mess we're all working through. And the US Treasury 10-year yield is now just on 4.25%, down 5 basis points from this time yesterday. The price of gold will start today up $98 at $4,836 an ounce. Silver's up $4 at $77.50 an ounce. American oil prices are down $7.50 at just on $91.50 a barrel, while the international Brent price is down $4.50, now at $94.50 a barrel. And the Kiwi dollar is up 50 basis points from yesterday at 59.1 US cents. Against the Aussie, we're up 10 basis points at 82.8 Australian cents. Against the euro, we're up 10 basis points at 50.1 euro cents. That all means our trade-weighted index starts today up 40 basis points from yesterday at just on 62.5. And the Bitcoin price starts today at $74,709 and up 3.4% from yesterday. Volatility over the past 24 hours has been moderate at just on plus or minus 2.8%. You can get more news affecting the economy in New Zealand from interest.co.nz. Kia ora, I'm David Chaston. We'll do this again tomorrow.